Hello, I'm Kristen Zohn, Curator of Collections and Exhibitions at the Lauren Rogers Museum in Laurel, Mississippi, and I am pleased today to be showing you the exhibition Bill Scott, A Garden in the Studio. Bill Scott is an artist who was raised in Philadelphia. He still works there, and he specializes in abstracts that are colorful compositions that are full of joy and life. The exhibition is titled A Garden in the Studio because he actually is not looking at a garden when he paints these works. He sets up still lives full of silk flowers and droopy philodendrons in his studio, and the pieces are really more of what he wishes the outside world were like, or the beautiful landscapes that he sees in his head. So this is the title piece from the exhibition, A Garden in the Studio, from 2017. And you can see that he uses beautiful colors, overlapping forms. You can see some of those droopy-leafed philodendron leaves kind of abstracted in the space. Also, the fact that a lot of his canvases are rectangular gives you the feeling of looking through a window out at the landscape outside of his studio in Philadelphia. He often works on more than one painting at a time, so that he's constantly coming back to them, looking and seeing what he wants to take away, what he wants to add. So often, because he does that, and because there's so many overlapping colors and shapes, they almost look like collages. Bill Scott does not set out, when he creates a painting, to have it be on any particular subject matter, and so he often doesn't find the titles for the pieces until they are done or almost done. This one is called Dulcimer, and it is so named because while he was painting it, he received an unexpected gift from the mother of a friend who had passed away several years earlier. The mother sent him her dulcimer. And so that beautiful gift from a deceased friend is the inspiration for the title of this work. And then he also, not only does Bill Scott make paintings, oils, but he also produces prints, which we'll talk about a little bit later in more detail. But you can see that he often bases the composition of his prints on paintings that he has already produced. So the painting Dulcimer was done in 2004, and this print, dry point with engraving, was done in 2007. You can see if you remove the colors, you can really see how he based the composition on a grid, and then that grid is enlivened with various squiggly lines throughout the composition. Scott grew up in Philadelphia, quite close to the Barnes collection, where he visited quite a bit as a teenager and fell in love with the Impressionist works that he saw there. He particularly was enamored with the work of Berthe Morisot, so much so that he eventually curated shows and wrote about her work. And not only did he do that, but he also incorporated inspiration from her into his own works. You can see here that he has, in a print form, used the composition of a work by her called The Cherry Tree, which shows a woman on a ladder picking cherries and handing them down to a woman below who's holding a basket up to her. And so that kind of diagonal from top left to bottom right of the ladder he used actually in a painting called The Cherry Tree, which uses that kind of very much simplifies the composition of the Berthe Morisot and of his print. He actually did the print after this painting, so he was looking directly at the Berthe Morisot when he chose the colors that mimic the spring cherry tree colors of green and pink and red. And then he also used that same color palette and composition in a later print, although you can see here the composition is even more complicated, and because he's added black lines and even more shapes. In 1999, Bill Scott lost the lease on his painting studio, and so he had nowhere to work. And so he took the opportunity to partner with a printmaker, a master printmaker named Cindy Ettinger, who was also in Philadelphia. And he started to make prints based on compositions or inspired by compositions of his paintings. But he took the opportunity to kind of see those compositions and the colors in the new way. He sees his paintings as an additive process of adding paint, but he thinks in more of a subtractive process about his prints because he has to decide what shapes are going to go on each plate that correspond to the color. So although most of the works in the exhibition, and truthfully most artworks in general, are rectangular or square shaped, there are several works that are round shaped, and those are called tondos. That's a form that was used in Europe since the 15th century. And Bill likes them because it, quote unquote, doesn't make him get painted into a corner. There are no corners to get painted into. So we're showing two works here, and there's a total of 4 in the exhibition. This one is called Circles and Flowers, and you can see that it is abstract circles in a variety of colors. And then he has made several of those circles flowers just by merely putting in some curved lines to suggest petals.